because you're friends.
We're friends, but it was a decision that had to be made one way or the other. The Supreme Court made it. I think in the early period, I think all of us felt that what was important was to accept that decision and move on for the country.
Al Gore made that decision too.
Al Gore made that decision, and I think in an extremely eloquent concession speech, made that point. But I think we all believed that the right thing to do for the country was to move on. I think now, with a little more...
You don't believe that?
No, I believed at the time. I absolutely
You don't believe that the right thing to do was to have the Supreme Court make a decision. You believe the right thing to do was have the Florida courts handle this and allow the votes to but that would have been the Supreme Court decision allowed that.
Exactly. What I believe is the Supreme Court had to make a decision. I believe that decision should have been to allow the Florida courts to deal with it.
Right. But you thought that we needed a Supreme Court decision.
Yes, because that's the final arbitrator. Even if that decision is to say we're going to deny cert,
right?
We're not going to hear this case.
Yeah. The election of president is too important not have a Supreme Court decision.
Well, at least not to have an opportunity
of some kind.
A ruling of some kind. But I thought they ought to. I thought they ought to stay out of the merits of the case. Their decision ought to have been to leave it to Florida, as they have left every election before and since, and as I hope they continue to do.
This is painful for you, isn't it?
Well, it is a little bit. I think the Supreme Court, for any lawyer, and particularly any lawyer who believes in the advancement of civil rights, is a central institution. It is the institution that has been most responsible over my lifetime for expanding the rights of people who have had their rights limited far too much, far too long in this country. And so whenever the Supreme Court does something that I think undermines its credibility to some extent, I think that's painful. I think it's particularly painful when you feel that the hydraulics of outside events are influencing it, and particularly when you think that there is a partisan divide that is influencing what's happening. So I think for all of those reasons, it was a very, very disappointing decision. I think in retrospect, looking back, and getting a sense of how much a difference it made to this country and to the world, and that George Bush was inaugurated as opposed to Al Gore, I think that also is something that probably aggravates my disappointment.
Foreign wars and the like. Has anybody told you, or has a justice told you, they wish they voted the other way?
No justice has ever told me that directly.